The night was heavy and silent over the rugged mountains of Kinner Valley. A thin mist hovered above the rocky ground, swallowing every sound except the faint rustle of boots on gravel. Echo 71 moved forward slowly. The platoon stretched across the narrow path, their rifles raised, every soldier alert and tense. Sergeant Harris led the team, his face hard and unreadable, his eyes scanning the dark for any movement. The valley was known for ambushes, for soldiers disappearing without trace, for the mountains themselves to swallow men whole. Tonight, the platoon carried a mission no one had returned from before. Private Lewis felt the weight of fear pressing down on his chest. This was his first real combat mission, and every nerve in his body screamed danger. He gripped his rifle tighter, his hands shaking as he looked at the shadows cast by jagged cliffs. The mountains seemed alive, as if watching them, waiting for the wrong move, the slightest mistake. Harris moved beside him, whispering, "Stay sharp, stay alive," every word like steel piercing through the cold night air. A distant sound echoed through the valley. A single scream, human but distorted, carried across the cliffs, bouncing and twisting with the wind. The platoon froze as the hair on the back of their necks stood. Harris raised a hand, signaling silence, every man holding his breath. Then a faint radio ping cut through the darkness, faint but clear. Echo 71, we are alive. If anyone receives this message, come quickly. The voice trembled with fear, but full of desperation. It was a soldier from the lost reconnaissance team, their transmission weak and breaking, but it was real. Harris signaled the platoon to move carefully toward the source of the signal. The path narrowed the rocks, closing in on both sides, making it almost impossible to move quickly. Every step had to be precise, every sound controlled. The mist thickened, making visibility almost zero. Lewis felt the sweat run down his face, stinging his eyes. He swallowed hard and followed the man in front of him, trusting his training, trusting his team, trusting Harris. Then a sudden flash, a gunshot from the ridge above, bullets whizzing past their heads like angry hornets. Soldiers hit the ground, rolling behind rocks, pulling others with them. Lewis felt his heart jump as he dragged a wounded soldier behind, cover his arms, burning his lungs, screaming from exertion, but refusing to leave the man. Harris shouted, "Cover fire, advance, return fire only when you see them, and keep moving." The team fired back using the shadows as cover, keeping low every movement, life or death. The sound of gunfire echoed and multiplied as enemy figures appeared from the darkness, moving with terrifying precision. Explosions ripped through the rocks, sending dust into the air, blinding soldiers for seconds. Lewis shielded his eyes and counted to 3, then looked again, the world covered in smoke, fire, and flashes. A grenade rolled close to him. He pushed the wounded soldier aside, just in time. The blast threw them both across the ground, bruising bodies, burning adrenaline coursing through their veins. Harris signaled to regroup and move toward the faint radio signal. They were close, but the enemy was relentless. Every step forward a battle, every breath a struggle against fear and exhaustion. They reached a small cliff edge overlooking the valley below. Bodies of fallen soldiers from the reconnaissance team lay scattered. Some moved slightly groaning, others silent still. Lewis felt nausea and fear collide. Harris dropped to his knees, examining a body, pulling a soldier onto his back, and moving quickly to cover. Radio crackled again, weak but desperate. Echo 71, respond. If you can, we are trapped, cannot hold much longer. The voice was young, panicked, shaking with every word. Harris knew they had minutes, maybe seconds, to reach them before the mission ended in tragedy. The platoon advanced, descending the rocky path, keeping low and moving carefully. Enemy fire continued from higher ground, shadows moving faster than the eye could see. Lewis ran, with another soldier dragging a stretcher containing an injured man across broken ground. Explosions and bullets flying overhead, every moment threatening to end life instantly. He realized the training and drills were nothing compared to this, the chaos, the fear, the pure weight of survival. Sweat, blood, and dust mixed, covering them in grime, but they kept moving, no one left behind. As they neared the last visible transmission point, the enemy launched a coordinated attack, grenades, bullets, and smoke filling the valley. Harris ordered cover fire and pushed forward. Every man fired, suppressing enemy positions. Lewis crouched and aimed, keeping low, his hands steady despite the shaking. Behind him, another soldier cried out, injured but still moving with sheer determination. They reached a ruined building, half-collapsed walls riddled with bullet holes. Inside, groans and weak whispers of the lost reconnaissance team echoed the last flickering of hope. Harris and the platoon moved inside, quickly securing the area, dragging the injured toward safety. Lewis carried a young private, barely conscious, across the debris, his hands burning, his arms screaming, but refusing to drop the man. The enemy closed in again, firing through walls, smoke filling the air thick and choking. Harris shouted, "Cover fire, get them out now," and they moved with precision, experience, courage, and desperation intertwined. Just when hope seemed lost, the distant thrum of helicopter rotors echoed above a Black Hawk descending into the valley, slicing through darkness. The soldiers ran toward the landing zone, dragging the wounded with every ounce of strength. Lewis fired behind, covering the team, bullets kicking up dirt and sparks near his face. Harris was the last to board the helicopter, lifting one final soldier off the ground as explosions erupted around them. The helicopter rose into the night, carrying them all alive but not unscathed. Inside, silence fell heavy on the survivors, some crying, some breathing heavily, some staring at the floor in disbelief. Lewis leaned against the wall, covered in grime, blood, sweat, and dust, realizing that survival came with a price beyond measure. Harris checked the team, counting bodies, ensuring everyone made it. The reconnaissance officer, barely conscious, whispered, "Thank you, your bravery saved us all." Lewis felt pride, courage, and fear collide in his chest. The radio crackled one last time, the voice of Echo 71 fading in a static, a message of warning, a message of gratitude, a final transmission from a soldier who may have already been lost, but whose courage inspired them all. The night over Cuner Valley remained silent, heavy, and unforgiving, but the platoon survived to tell the story. They had faced death together in darkness and emerged carrying lessons of loyalty, sacrifice, and courage that would never be forgotten.